I want to present the level of tolerance to the fair network and its chair, Mr. Holmes. The level symbolizing the peace behind the dream is very symbolic level, and I wish to promote tolerance and translation in the world in the future.
Thank you very much, Marcin. Dear friends, colleagues, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, and special thanks to Rita for that very humbling laudation. Thank you, Rita. I'm from the steel city of Sheffield, the red and white side of the city of Sheffield, not the dark side. I'm well into my 60s, and my team, Sheffield United, the Blades, have never won anything in my lifetime. I continue to live in Holmes. I helped found the Football Unite's Race and Device project, or THIRD, for short, 20 years ago. We were one of several NGOs and fan groups who came together in Vienna to set up FAIR in 1999. I'm very happy to see some of the other founders of FAIR here today, including Daniela Conti from Wisp in Italy, Rafał Pankowski, the Vice Chair at FAIR from Never Again in Poland. And whilst mentioning Never Again, I'd just like to pause a minute to pay tribute to Marcin Kornak, who was a disabled man, started the first anti-racist campaign in Central and Eastern European football in 1996. The Let's Kick Racism Out of the Stadiums initiative. Marcin, very sadly, is no longer with us. I can't overstate his contribution to fighting discrimination in Poland over the past 20 years. On behalf of the board, the staff and membership of the FAIR network, I want to sincerely thank the European Council on Tolerance and Reconciliation for this joint award. It's our honour and great pleasure to be cited alongside Samuel Eto'o to receive this medal. I pay testament to Samuel, who is, in my opinion, one of the greatest players ever to play football in Europe. The FAIR network exists to create change, to help build a Europe which is equal for all its citizens. Football is both our arena for doing so and our methodology. The presence and example of people like Samuel make what we are doing both necessary and, through the example he sets, much easier. It's a sad fact that many of the people in whose collective memory we are working are not here today. They died in pogroms, they became victims of individual racist attacks, they perished in making the treacherous journey to Europe, and they became part of the failure of our society to see humane values before those of self-interest. We're here in London, a city that is now defined by its ethnic and religious diversity, its tolerance of minorities. But it was not always so. Go back just 10 years or so when race attacks, injuries and deaths in the capital were common. It's been a long, hard fight making Britain a tolerant society. And believe me, the fight is not over. In Europe today, football is both the means of highlighting our collective diversity, and it's also the place where we know many of the worst excesses of discrimination take place. We have a World Cup in Russia coming up. Whilst I'll never feed into a narrow Western analysis of the world's biggest country, we know there's a problem there of racism and xenophobia. 2 weeks ago we launched a report detailing incidents that have taken place inside football in Russia. Some of those incidents send a shiver down the spine. Our expectation is that the authorities will act to change things. The Fair Network has been active now since 1999, monitoring the far right, working with minorities of all kinds, challenging discrimination on the basis of racism, homophobia, sexism, and working with governing bodies, clubs and players, as well as building educational campaigns and drawing on the appeal of mega events such as the European Championships and World Cups. We acknowledge our good relationship with UEFA. Action always speaks louder than words, and the sanctions that leading bodies take to tackle acts of discrimination are always in the spotlight. Go back a few years, and it used to be a story of inadequate action. But the story of the past 2 years has been real action. Gone are the days of tiny fines that help heap insult onto injury, but matches now behind closed doors. Clear warnings to clubs and fans who don't share our vision of a football industry that's a force for social good. The strong messages are now upsetting some people, but we also see they're working. Our work's not even close to being done. Europe's a dynamic continent, and we all need to be vigilant and challenge intolerance wherever it occurs. Many of the challenges that face us now also include increasing gender diversity at the highest levels, the representation of ethnic minorities and people of colour in football leadership positions, and the necessity to ensure that players like Samuel Eto'o are also seen as leaders in coaching and in administration and governing bodies. We owe thanks to the dedication of so many people, my fellow board members, our dedicated and hard-working staff team, our funding partners, but above all, our members spread over 35 countries in Europe. We thank them for their perseverance and bravery, their ability to work in difficult, sometimes dangerous circumstances, and their willingness to be part of our movement. We also have a collective vision. That vision is a positive one, in which football realises the role it has as a means of bringing people together, of being a mechanism for social change and equality, an example for other areas of life. Thank you for acknowledging the Fair Network. Thank you sincerely for standing with us as comrades. United, we are powerful beyond measure. Thank you.
Very much indeed, Howard, and many congratulations to you and to Fair. And now, accompanied by his